Alright guys, what's up? So, for this episode, we're going to do a little bit on the dash of the interior. Because of our old paneling here on the dash, obviously, some of it, you know, has its wear and tear because, you know, the car is from 1967. Well, while I'm trying to figure out how to take this apart, I get a little stumped, so I, you know, try to look it up, see what other people are doing, and I go on YouTube. Well, after hours of searching for this, I hardly found anything on how to do this. So I just crawled up under there, figured it out, and we got it pulled apart. So I'm going to do a little bit of, not exactly a walkthrough because I already have it pulled apart, but basically just what I did and what to look out for and what to be careful for. Because to my knowledge, the little climate control right on the driver's side, right to the door where it's got the temperature stuff and everything for that right there, they do not make a replacement piece for. Where is it actually? This right here. Yep. So when you'll be sitting there and you got the steering wheel up over here, down here underneath will be this piece, and this is the only piece that's actually made out of metal. This is a cast, obviously. Ooh, excuse me. But this piece they don't have a replacement for. So when you pull this out, do not drop it. Not a good idea. So there's that. And then I'm going to go through a little bit on the rest here. How to do the, get rid of the glove box stuff. How to get rid of all the little trim that's up here. And then maybe, we're going to see how this goes. Change the dash pad. It's still in somewhat good condition. The only problem is with the heat sitting on it in the summer, it likes to flex. So we're gonna just try to clean this up and change the color of it. But if it still kind of doesn't work out so well, we're just gonna order a new one and put that in. So here's the rest of the stuff. First things first, we can start with the glove box. So obviously there's no glove box. Well, here's the glove box itself. Just a nice good hunk of stamped metal with, you know, a bunch of holes in it. It goes just like that. So here's the plastic insert for that. And, you know, it looks similar to this once it's open. There's really not much in here. It's kind of metal at this point. So I pulled that out. There's only 4 screws that hold that in. So that'll come out fairly easy. Then here's the hinge for the little glove box door itself. 6 bolts, nothing too major. And the glove box itself, now since we're painting this, I pulled the little button and lock mechanism off, and there's only 2 screws there, so there's nothing that major with that. Then after, we gotta pull the major components apart. So to get this piece off over here, all I did was pull the center piece off. I just went under it, pried it up, and then slid it apart. And then after that, I came through and popped all those out. Now, the thing to make sure to look at, because I already broke a piece, the piece that goes from like here down, there's these holes here, and on the trim itself, there's you know, these little tabs here. There might be, I mean, a select few that have almost like a nut on the back of these, and you know, it's made of plastic, and honestly, you know, if I can get this to focus at all, probably not. Yeah, no, not happening. Anyway, so it's like a threaded piece, but it's not really like, you know, threaded. See if I can find them here. These right here, this is what they look like. They're you know, little thin bolts. Here's the one, the socket I used to pull it off. What is this? Okay, 5/8. So those can be a 5/8 socket, and you can majorly do this entire car with interior part with the 5/8 socket. There's another one. You need a really smaller one. This one is the 1/4 socket, and then you're just gonna need a Phillips screwdriver. And then after that, you can get literally everything apart on this dash. So pop the trim off, you pull those bolts out. Now make sure to baggy all these because there's a lot of bolts and screws for this dash. As you can see, just for that climate control section I was talking about, I have 3 baggies, just all parts from that. So, you know, cigarette lighter, ashtray, I just pulled that out. It's not really that, you know, painstaking because you can pull that out from the factory. I got the rest of the bolts in there and whatnot. So the little piece that goes right here has the two screws that come up from the bottom, and that's going to be the Phillips. So you undo that, and then that little stud thing on the back of a piece similar to this, I don't know where that's at actually, it's going to have that bolt on there that I was talking about. So you're going to want to pull that off, but make sure you actually pull that whole thing off, that whole bolt, otherwise you will crack the little stud here, and you will have to order another piece. Now thankfully they have pieces for that. So once that's done, now you're going to want to take the steering wheel off, obviously, because it makes so much more room in here. So you get that off, the whole passenger side's taken apart. Now you get over here to the driver's side and you get to the cluster, and since it's an older car, everything's, you know, pretty much hardwired, which I figured out a way after, you know, videos and whatnot. I actually, you know, pulled this out already, but it's not that hard to pull out of here. I got it done pretty quickly. But first things first, there's going to be a little Phillips screw here, and then up on the top there's 3, kind of in between the cluster on both sides of these bigger ones. And there's another one over here, and then underneath the cluster here, there's 2 spots for screws. Now you're going to want to undo all that and baggy them. And then once you get to that point, you can pull this whole cluster apart. And now, as I said before, I already did this. So I had originally thought, you know, we have to pull all of these out. So I was marking them and whatnot already. I got only a few of them like pulled apart, and then once we figured out that we didn't have to spend so much time doing this, I put them all back in and said screw it. Because, yeah, this car has these, which is very nice. So, you know, you just unplug those. There's this little blue one here, the fatter one for, you know, everything. And there's this one right here for the wiper blades. So once you get those done and pull those out, then you have the speedometer here. And that's basically going to run just like a brake cable. So, now you can hardly see that. So right there, that's all it's going to be. So you're going to want to loosen that off. So I can get the screwdriver, or the flashlight, so you can get that in there. So you just basically want to unscrew that nut, and then you can pull it away from the cluster. And now that one, you're going to want to use like an open box end wrench for. I use the nice hefty duty one, the 3/4. Pretty nice size. So I used that and I got that off. Now, the hardest part about this one was not actually the cluster itself, it was the climate control. Because we had run into that problem that they don't make replacement parts. So right off the bat, I'm already worried. So it's actually quite simple if you put it in normal terms or whatever. There's everything back there. Now this huge metal thing here, that's all part of the climate control. Okay. So what you're going to want to do first is grab a set of Allen wrenches, I'm not sure which size, and then you're going to want to pull all these little things off. Now you don't want to definitely take a picture or write them down or something to you know, be able to put them back in order, but they're all set screws. So that'll definitely take care of your problem here. Now there's going to be 4 of them, obviously, so you undo those, and then on the bottom here, there's going to be 2 screws. At the top, there's 2 screws. And now when you pull this off, be careful with it because it is the cast whatever that is. I think aluminum or no, probably not aluminum. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. So you're just gonna definitely want to be careful with that. This one was one of those pieces that it was kind of scary pulling apart, just like the headlight buckets. If you know anything about the headlight buckets, those are a cast metal as well. So you crack those, and I believe they're like $300+. And we really don't have that much money in the budget to be doing stuff like this. So once you get that off, then you're stuck. Well, not really stuck. You're kind of stranded with this right here. This Pretty nasty looking, gutted dash. And that's pretty much all you need to do. So that'll be the end of this video. Make sure to stay tuned. Hit that little subscribe button. Leave a like if you like it, leave a like if you didn't like it, and I'll be sure to see you in the next one.